my club is listening to me. All the clubs that I mentored this year, or I served this year, they're listening to me. Don't think that I'm not picking your name, but it's just that it just happened yesterday, so it is fresh in my memory. There were two MCs.
Like a quick meetup for everybody. Right? So we have a small activity.
Welcome to the very first episode of Leadership Skills. Before we begin, there is just one thing I want my audience to remember. Think about the best leader you know. Chances are they didn't earn your respect when everything was sailing smoothly. They earned it when the storm hit. If you have ever wondered what it really takes to run a massive network of clubs, how to handle leadership skills, emergencies, or how to build a team that can function even during your absence, this episode is your masterclass. Let me start this podcast by leaving you with this curious question. So what does real leadership look like behind the scenes when things doesn't go according to the plan? Today, we have a leader who has just completed a phenomenal 1 year term as an area director and has just stepped into the shoes of division director, the inspiring Toastmaster Vidita. She has been a Toastmaster for almost 8 years and is a 3 time Triple Crown Award winner. The pathways that helped her achieve these milestones were visionary communication and innovative planning. And she is currently enrolled in motivational strategies. Beyond her achievements, she is an incredible club coach and a dedicated mentor who has constantly mentored members like me towards their success. Personally, she has always been a massive inspiration to me, especially when I see her creating impactful YouTube videos on public speaking. Today, I'm so glad that I'm finally able to do these beautiful conversations about leadership skills with her. Let's give a huge round of applause welcoming our area director, I3, Toastmaster Vidita Kerr, who is soon to become a DTM.
Thank you so much, Jivita, for that warm, wonderful welcome.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vidita, for being here. Also, congratulations on stepping up as Division Director for Division C District 228.
Thank you.
But before we talk about the future, I want to look back at the incredible year you just wrapped up as Area Director. When you look back at your 1 year term as Area Director, what was the single biggest lesson you learned? And how did that fundamentally transform you as a person?
Well, it's been close to 12 months now. Another 2 days and it'll be 12 months. There are not just one, but many lessons that I learned in this journey. First of all, I was grateful enough that I got this opportunity. And secondly, it has taught me various lessons in leadership as well as in my personal life as well. But the most important lesson, if I have to just pick or handpick one or two lessons, that will be the one that is really close to my heart and the one that I have learned the hard way. Keep showing up. Show up 5, show up 10, show up 70, show up 85. There is no need to show up 100%, but just show up. Because sometimes it's just your presence there and things will start working for you. They'll work out for you in a positive way. But don't give up. Have people to support you. Have faith in the people that are with you, your mentees, your peers, and keep showing up for yourself as well because you have signed up for a role. It's a voluntary organization. We do it out of our passion. So just keep showing up and the results will take care of themselves. This is what I have learned. And I think I would keep reminding it to myself on days where I want to give up that I have to show up no matter what. That has to be crystal clear in my head. And that's what will keep me going forward in this next role as well.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vidita, for sharing this with us. We have a living example as Toastmaster Vidita, how brilliantly she has adapted it, transformed it, and built herself among one of the best leaders who I truly admire. I
Thank
want
you.
to talk about something a lot of people don't mention. When you step into a higher role like area director, you have to sacrifice your own eagerness to participate in contest. You're organizing them, you're not competing in them. So how did that feel for you? Was it hard to sit on a sidelines, and how did you process that shift?
Well, I think you have highlighted the pain rightly in your question. It feels difficult because we all join Toastmasters for first thing because of we want to improve our communication skills. We want to have a magnetic stage presence, not because of leadership. That's not the first thing that comes to our mind, right? When we pay our fee. Now, same had happened for me. I had joined because I wanted to give longer speeches. I wanted to have a charismatic stage presence so that I can talk to an audience of more than 500 to 1,000 people. And contest is an excellent platform to test your skill in a time boxed fashion. You might also be aware you have also taken part in contests. But there is a caveat here. When you get into leadership in Toastmasters, for that year you have to leave the contest stage. It's a really hard thing to do. But what I do, because I see my mentees performing, so I help them, I mentor them for their speeches, but I also take my notes. So when I'm going to contests, most of the times I'm on the other side of the contest. I'm judging the contests or organizing them. But I'm also listening to speeches. I'm also keeping my eyes and ears open because when there will come a time in future where I will not be in a leadership role in Toastmasters, I will again go back to contest. Because I love stage. I'll again go back there. So I have my own notes. I think I'm telling this thing only in your podcast today. So for your viewers, I always think of my speech title. So whenever I will get an opportunity for next ISC, I have my speech title ready. It is of 7 words. It contains 7 words right now. So in my mind, at the back of my mind, I'm thinking how to reduce it to 4 words or less, but that is still a journey, a process. So what I want to highlight here is you should never stop. Even if you're not getting a chance to perform on stage, you can always do your homework. Be ready, and when your time comes, deliver that. So that is my take. So I am not off stage completely. I am thinking, what should I be giving as my ISC speech next? But right now, even if I'm on the sidelines, like you asked, how do you feel being on the sidelines? I am joyous because in the last 1 year, I saw all my mentees perform so well at different stages, be at club, at area contest, at division contest. And 2 of them even went till district stage this time. So I was very happy to be a small part in their journey. It could be as small as discussing their speech title, reviewing their speeches, or helping them sit like this on a conversation and see how they're delivering. So, being a part of someone's journey is as incredible as going on the stage and performing yourself, I feel.
That is such a wonderful, powerful shift. Instead of competing, you found fulfillment in creating opportunities for the others right now. You have been in spotlight in enabling others to shine. Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you.
Now, I have to bring up a moment that deeply, deeply inspired me. During the area contest, you were incredibly sick. I was also a contestant there. You had a very valid medical reason to stay back home, rest, but your dedication was next level. I see that you took medicines, pushed yourself, and showed up for your area. Now, so what was driving you that day? What was that inner feeling that made you that you have to be there?
Oh, well, yes, yeah. I also remember that day I was sick to an extent that my body was screaming at the top of its voice that you need to rest today. You cannot get up. Forget about going on the stage. You cannot even get up to do your basic chores, housework, right? But I would like to thank 3 people here specifically, especially if you're talking about that area contest that happened in March. 3 people helped me to move out of my bed and really stand up, get ready, and be there. First of all, is my mother. So I spoke to her in the morning. First of all, I spoke to God that why did you choose that particular day to make me sick out of all the days? Because we had practiced or rehearsed for that contest for 2 whole weeks. All the arrangements were in place, everything was done. I'm sharing this for people who do not know what really happened. So I had eaten food outside a day before, and because of that food, I had severe stomach issues. And the night before the contest, area contest, which I was managing, I had vomited 3 times to an extent that I was feeling dehydrated, and it was also peak summers in March. So with less than 2 hours of sleep, area contest starting in next 5 hours, I was thinking, I don't know what to do. So I spoke to my mom and I asked her, what do you think? What should I do? Because my body is not in sync with my mind right now. So she told me, if the vomit is in control, you're not getting more, just try to take something, some medicine or some ways which you can rest your body, rest your stomach, then get up, go up, and show up there. That's what she told. She said, you will feel much better if you go there. And it kind of, I was in sync with her when she said that, but my body was not supporting me. So then I have to thank the second person, my friend with whom I stay here. Her name is Simran. She really helped me to dress up because I was not in a mood to even, look proper, dress well, and go out because, like I said, what I was feeling inside. So she really helped me. I was standing like a skeleton. She helped me dress everything, made me ready so that I could go and just be there. And the third person I want to thank here is my contest chair, Toastmaster Anand. He was the backbone of the show. Even if I wouldn't have been able to go there, he could have still run that show smoothly without me. But he also insisted me, just come, I'll give you a chair, you sit there, but just come. We need your presence here. Otherwise, everything was in place and he was smoothly handling the contest. So that kind of energy which you get from other people, right? You take that energy from them, use it as a crutch, then take one step, two step. I took few baby steps, and then when I felt a little energized, I could come up and just be there that day. Yes.
I'm very thankful for your support system. It was really good to see you that day. Because during emergency, like being a area director, it is a 1 year of commitment. I want my viewers, whoever is taking up area director role, how can they create and train a backup team beneath under them so that they can build leaders whenever they are not available.
Okay, I understand where this question is going. So, firstly, I don't believe in backups. Backups, I think this should be the front up thing to do. That is, when you start your term as in any leadership role for that matter, you cannot do it alone. And you should not do it alone as well. Why? I'll tell you. There are days when you cannot be available for any personal work, family emergency, or anything which is not calculated or planned ahead, right? For that, you need a team. And that should start from day one rather than you have to look up for someone on the day of emergency, right? When I started this role, I always ensured that there is a team who is there. For example, I talked about Toastmaster Anand. He was also leading the PR because he was my area PR chair. And there were two more people who were part of my area team. So when you have people and you give them opportunities, not on the final day or not on the day when you need them, but from starting, give them opportunities to lead meetings. So I conducted joint area meetings where all 5 clubs come and be a part of that meeting. I asked them to be the host of the meeting. Give them opportunities to lead right from beginning so that when the time arises for them to shine on the stage, they are well equipped. They are not looking at me. They are not coming back asking for resources. They already are, the net practice that happens in cricket. So they've done a lot of net practice that they can actually perform on that day. And that's what I believe in, even for my next role that I am going into. I've already started looking for my extended team members, and soon I'll be talking to them and help them understand what they need to do and what they can learn from it. So it's always a team effort, Jivita.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vidita. It's very inspiring for me to hear how you are going to lead your team to act. Even in your absence, they'll be confident.
Yes, that's the idea.
Next, moving on to what was your absolute favorite, most memorable moment from your time as area director? The one moment when you looked around and thought, yes, all this hard work was worth it.
Mm, there were many. Well, I think it's difficult to pick one. I'm still thinking. Okay, I'll pick the recent one. There are many, and if my club is listening to me, all the clubs that I mentored this year, I served this year, they're listening to me. Don't think that I'm not picking your name, but it's just that it just happened yesterday, so it is fresh in my memory. So while the awards, rewards, numbers, everything matters a lot, and that shows in the dashboard. Out of the 6 clubs that I had this year, an opportunity to serve, 5 of them are distinguished and above. 2 of them are Smedley distinguished, which is the highest honor. 2 of them are president distinguished, and one is select distinguished. So all of that said and done is good. But what stayed with me, or what will stay with me for the longest period of time, is the member connections that I made here. So just yesterday we had the division finale event, and there were 2 MCs.
I think we all have done, but a quick meetup for everybody. Right. So we have a small activity. Quick meetup for everybody. Right. So we have a small activity.
We spend our lives waiting for graduation, waiting for a promotion, waiting for the perfect moment.
She was going to introduce me. Her introduction, me, it was in 2024. I found her, she was a new college grad, and I was the decision contest chair. I took her in my registrations team. From there, that association happened, and in her introduction yesterday, she reminded me of each of that instances, and then asked me to come on stage and speak. So I was so overwhelmed that people will forget the title that I had, or number of clubs, how many distinguished, like I told you in the beginning. But that connection that I had with her, that she fought with the other MC, that I want to introduce Vidita no matter what. So
Wow.
that kind of bond that happens, right? It doesn't happen just like that. So that is something I'm going to keep close to my heart, Jivita.
It was really truly inspirational for me. Like, even when I connect with you, I cannot never forget those memories and the way you brought the charm. The first time you came as an area director to our club, I that day decided, okay, I want this kind of energy in me.
Yes. Energy truly inspires this.
Yeah. Now you have just started your journey as division director. That is a massive leap. What inspired you to take on this next big challenge so quickly? And honestly, how are you planning to manage it all? What is your strategy for making this massive role easier and smoother for you?
Honestly, I don't have a well-defined answer for it in my head. I haven't planned anything as such. But what I believe in, truly, like I said, I think I said it in other platforms as well, the core values. I believe in 2 core values. While there are 4 core values, respect, integrity, service, and excellence in Toastmasters, 2 of them are close to my heart. One is respect, and second is excellence. Because I feel integrity is inwards. We all have to maintain our integrity to work in any profession. So the respect of each other's time, each other's money, giving value to each other is something that is pushing me to take it to next level. So now I'll have a team of 4 area directors with me who are going to serve the members. So how do I respect their time? How do I find value in their journey so that they respect that commitment with me? And excellence. Excellence is something that comes from my home club. My home club has been winning Golden Gavel continuously from last 3 years. So we know how to execute excellence in action. And that is what I want to give it to many clubs. So the scale is bigger, the stakes are higher, and I'm ready for that challenge at this stage. So I want to share my knowledge and bridge that gap and make more clubs excellent. Thank you.
Toastmaster Vidita, whatever you shared now is very valuable to me because I received that one of the core value coin. Now I know the value of that, how much you keep that close to your heart.
Thank you.
Before I let you go, we have a leadership rapid fire round. 5 quick questions. One word that defines your leadership style during your area director journey.
Lead by example. I think there are 3 words.
Okay. You can say a sentence as well. You're free. What
Okay.
matters is how it's going to touch the audience.
Mhm.
Your go to comfort food when you're stressed out before a massive Toastmaster event.
Interesting. I think it'll be a bowl of pasta with tofu and mushroom.
Nice, yummy, yummy. That's my favorite too. What is
Okay.
more critical for a division director? What do you think is more critical for a division director? Being a master planner or listener, or what else coming to your head?
I think both. It should be an and. I have to be a planner and a listener because I have to listen to what my team says and also plan ahead.
Oh, great, great answer. If you could give me one golden piece of advice, because I am now stepping into a new role as a president of Vestas Bangalore
Mm.
Toastmaster Club, what would that be?
Congrats. Well, as you're going to lead your team of ExCom members for your club, I would suggest you 2 things. One is navigate, and second is delegate. Navigate the tough situations in the club where you need to give some direction to your club members, and delegate the tasks which you think other members can do well. You find out the strength of each people and then delegate the task accordingly. So navigate and delegate.
Wow, very nice. I'll keep this noted when I'm taking any actions.
Yes.
As we wrap up this incredible first episode, I want you to look directly at the inspiring area directors, the new club officers, and the members watching us right now. What is your final key message for someone who wants to aim for an area director and might be afraid that they are not ready?
If they are afraid, I would request them to put their hand on their hearts and ask them that are they ready to show up for themselves and do they have a service mindset? If you have a service mindset, I think any challenge you'll be able to cope up with your team, with the community with you. So just have this feeling in your heart that I'm ready to show up and I have a service mindset, and it'll become a smooth ride for you.
Wow, spoken like a true leader. Toastmaster
Thank
Vidita, thank you for being so honest and for showing us what real dedication looks like. You have set the bar incredibly high for the episode 1 of my podcast, Leadership Skills. And to everyone who is watching at home, leadership isn't about being perfect, and it is certainly not about everything going as you planned. It's about how you show up when you are sick, how you support your team when they really need you, how to choose to grow through the challenges. If this conversation gave you a spark today, do us a quick favor, smash that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit like button so the Toastmasters algorithm can share this with Toastmasters worldwide, and leave a comment below. What is one leadership lesson from Toastmaster Vidita's journey that you are going to apply in your club? Until next time, keep stepping up, keep sharing your passion, and let's keep growing together. See you in the next episode.